it's Lauren here. A warning, this episode contains deep chats, lots of swear words, and some things you might find upsetting, but you know that we cannot help but overshare.
Hi, it's Gemma.
And Lauren.
Get ready to listen to our innermost secrets
In the Oops, We Overshared Again podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us, Emily. It's really great to have you here. Oh, Lauren, I didn't say the thing at the start. Sorry, can we do it
You don't
again?
have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. Just carry on. We've got it in the intro.
Oh, all right. Sorry, yeah.
Carry on.
As we were. As we were. Do you know what else is really funny though? Because Lauren edits the podcast. When I do something like this and make myself look like a complete knob, it always gets left in.
Neither of us know how to intro, which is why straight away before I click record, I went, Gemma, you can do it.
It's because you know that record button is like going and you're looking at it thinking, oh my God.
Literally.
Cannot for the life.
No,
do
I'm
you
like getting a sweat on.
Introduce yourself better than we have done.
Yes, please do.
What, me? Okay.
No pressure.
I'm going to mess it up. So I'm Emily, also known as Solar Sister Tarot on Instagram and TikTok. And I'm an intuitive tarot reader, if I can say it, intuitive tarot reader. And I'm based in Manchester in the UK.
I mean, you know this, I'm a big fan. I haven't told you this because I was waiting to tell you this. I know I always comment on them, but first of all, I always get very upset because Scorpio is one of the very last tarot scopes that you put up every month. And every month I'm like, all right, Aries, like, get out of the way. But this month, so the April tarot scope for Scorpio, it made me cry.
Is it?
It made me cry. I had like a full... Did I tell you, Gemma?
You did, yeah. No, she did.
Like,
she said to me straight after she'd watched it.
I did. Yeah, I had like a full, like, every single card you pulled, and even the Oracle card at the end, just were like very poignant about all very different. You said about collaboration a lot with Scorpio and it being like this abundant thing and stuff, and I'm just about to enter a collaboration with a friend of mine in terms of work. It starts on Monday, and then there was something that I could like pinpoint to like relationships in my life and things like that, and I literally just burst into tears. It was beautiful.
That's so interesting because I never, like, once I record them, I'll just put them out and I don't ever really watch them back. So when people message me and they're like, oh, this resonated, sometimes I'll watch it and I'll be like, oh wow, yeah, like I can put all those sort of puzzle pieces together. And it's so interesting you said that because my housemate, she's a Scorpio moon and she watches her sun, moon and rising. So she's a Pisces sun, Scorpio moon, Virgo rising, and she said that she cried this week as well watching them. So I don't know what I did to Scorpio. I think I triggered you all somehow.
What I will say is I'm a Taurus rising, and I did watch that one as well. And actually that one, you spoke a lot about collaboration in that one as well, because you obviously that one went up first, and I actually sent that to the person before I then watched the Scorpio one. So that one was very poignant as well. Interesting.
Also, are they Taurus, the person that you collaborate with?
Weirdly, the one I didn't watch is my moon, which is Gemini, which she is. So I probably should have watched that one.
Well, you have to watch Gemini now and see what came up in that one.
Yeah, it was really interesting though. There was a lot of collaboration things, and it's the first big collaboration I've done. And so it's a bit of a nervy, like unknown territory kind of situation. And then, and also I've kind of like I've had, I think because of life events as well, I've had like a longer period of time than usual without any kind of big sales, I guess.
Yeah.
So for the word, it was certain wording you use and stuff, I can't describe it. And we've had the first person join already, and it doesn't go on sale until Monday. So it was very, and it's interesting because the name of our program is called Constellation, and so it all just
feels very aligned.
Very aligned, all the stars coming together, because we were saying about how like everything like joins together, and that's kind of the idea of the program. So it's funny because ever since it's been named Constellation, we've had a number of weird synchronicities and stuff that have happened. So
yeah I always find it interesting, like, how did you find me as well? Because I don't even know how we found each other. It was kind of random.
I don't know. I have no idea. I wonder if I just searched tarot, to be honest.
Maybe. Or maybe I just, because I know that like more videos seem to come up on the feed now. So I'm trying to push kind of reels and video content more than anything else. So I wonder if one of us just popped up on each other's feeds. I don't know. But yeah, we're meant to meet somehow.
I'm super interested in it. I always have been. Me and my mum did a course, like a day thing for tarot. I don't know when it was, like 5 years ago. And it fascinates me, but I don't know a lot about it, but it fascinates me. And so yeah, I probably did seek you out. How did you get into it?
So I bought a deck when I was training at drama school as an actor. And I was given this role, which was like a psychic medium in a play called Blithe Spirit. Do you know that play at all? It's a comedy, and it's about a husband and wife, and the wife dies, and then she comes back to haunt him, and he like invites in a psychic and stuff, but she's a bit like eccentric. So it's a really like fun character to play. But they said to me when I was studying the character that I should have some props to play with. And I was like, well, what would a psychic medium have? And I was like, well, maybe tarot cards. And I'd always been interested in that anyway. So it wasn't like something out of character for me to go and buy. So yeah, I went to buy them, sought advice of the person in the shop, which I don't think I should have done. I think I should have just gone off instinct of what I liked, which I think you learn as you go with tarot. Sometimes you think that you need to ask somebody else, or somebody has to gift you the cards. That's a bit of a myth. You can buy your own cards, it's absolutely fine. And yeah, so I bought these cards, and I remember doing like little readings for my friends at the time, and they were like, oh, you're really good at this, like, you know, you should properly learn how to read them and like, you know, throw away the book eventually. And I was like, yeah, you know, I do like it, but it's hard, like maybe I don't have the time to actually do it. So I put these cards back in a drawer, didn't touch them until about 2020 when the lockdown happened. And I was doing like a meditation course, and there was like yoga on there, Tai Chi, and there was a lady doing tarot cards as well. And she was like, oh, does anyone have any tarot cards in this group? And I was like, well, I do, but I don't really know what I'm doing with them. And she was like, well, I'll give you this technique, see if you like it, and, you know, do your homework basically and see what you can do with it. And I just flew. It was like a light bulb turned on, and it was like the cards that had been sitting there all that time came back out of the drawer, and I was always meant to be on that path. So yeah, and I started doing readings again just for friends and family. And then this lovely friend of mine called Steph said, can I pay you for a reading? And I was like, well, I don't know if I'm ready to accept money because I don't really know what I'm doing. And she was like, no, I'm going to pay you. And I feel like that's how things happen, like with the universe. It's like, no, there needs to be an energy exchange here. Otherwise, you're going to get exhausted by it. And I think people find it difficult to accept money for spiritual kind of gifts and things like that. But I think there definitely needs to be some sort of exchange, because you can experience that sort of spiritual burnout. So yeah, and then it just kind of took off from there. I started doing like a pay what you feel just while I was finding my way, and then set up my business, and the rest was history.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's really cool. It is cool. It's funny because when I did that course thing, I bought a deck that they advised. It's like a, who is it?
Rider-Waite, yeah.
One of the, it's like a standard, I guess, like a standard deck. And it's weird because I think did I mention it to you, Gemma? It's like, it doesn't feel like mine. I've had this like really weird moment. I pulled them out, and I haven't used them for years. And I pulled them out not that long, like within the last couple of months. And I pulled them out, and I was like, everything I was pulling, I was like, no, doesn't feel like that's anything to do with me.
No.
It's really odd. It's a really odd feeling.
Yeah, the one that I bought was called the Tarot of Marseille, I think it was called. And there's no images on the cards. It's just like, if it's 10 of Pentacles, it's just 10 Pentacles. There's no like sort of people in the image or anything to go off. And now I read intuitively, so I look at the image and I really sort of get into the symbolism and everything, whereas that, it just didn't work for me. And I wish at the time I'd have just gone in and had a proper look at them rather than asking somebody else's advice. But I have settled now, I really like the Modern Witch tarot deck, which is similar to the Rider-Waite, but it's a little bit more modern in the imagery. So it's got like mobile phones in the images, laptops, and it resonates more with me. And a lot of the imagery is kind of not specific to gender either. There's a kind of images of non-binary people, and it's sort of, there's a big mix of like races, because it's interesting with the Rider-Waite, the lady who designed the images, she was called Pamela Coleman Smith, and she was actually a mixed race woman. So the two guys that she was working with were white men. So a lot of the imagery in the Rider-Waite deck is white, whereas she probably would have liked to see representations of herself in those images. So that's what I really like about the Modern Witch. It feels like a kind of an ode to her as well, just to kind of be like, you know, carrying the torch, but also everyone can see themselves in this deck. I'll show you which one it is. That's the Modern Witch tarot deck. If anybody wants to get one, I'd really recommend this one. It's a really good place to start.
I love that. Gemma, you're just like so keen for me.
I am. To be honest, because Lauren bought me a reading for my birthday, which you did for me in January.
Oh
yeah. So, and I am fascinated. I love an oracle card. I have loads of oracle card decks, but I've always found tarot quite. I've had readings done, obviously yourself, and I've had in-person readings done, but I've never. I don't know what it is, but I feel like oracle's like quite safe, but I've always thought tarot's just a bit. I don't know, like I'm not.
Yeah. Before I got the tarot cards, I actually had some oracle cards as well, which were the angel cards. Do you remember angel cards? With Dawn Virtue and stuff. She's kind of she's moved on from tarot and oracle now. It's quite interesting. She's like a born again Christian, and she's like said, I don't endorse that anymore, which is interesting. But I've always kept that deck because, again, it felt very safe. It felt very like warm and compassionate. And I feel like whatever resonates with you, whether it's tarot or oracle, like sometimes people prefer oracle because it's a little bit more gentle, which I definitely, I think, reach for oracle sometimes as well. It just depends on how I'm feeling at the time, whether I want somebody to be honest with me or I want someone to just go, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I think for me as well, I think oracle, without having to like read even like the booklet or having kind of that thing, it's more explanatory just even in what they're called. So if you've got like no concept of like learning them all individually, you can pick up an oracle card and kind of make sense of it without having to go and read something or figure it out, whereas the tarot, they're quite like abstract, aren't they, unless you have an understanding of them.
Yeah, exactly. And when you put cards together, you know, one card might mean something on its own, but when you put it in combination, it can mean other things, and there's a story and a through line to it, which I think you do learn as you go along. And when you're in the very early stages of learning tarot, just one card at a time is absolutely fine. It's hard because sometimes you can get overwhelmed when you start pulling loads of cards and you're like, oh, this is too many. So at the start, I think definitely pull one card at a time. And if oracle works for you, then definitely start there, because that's a nice place to start.
It fascinates me. I never know. It's one of those things. It's funny because, and we've mentioned it a couple of times, but this whole series has kind of accidentally, I think because of how we both are, has kind of accidentally been, it's a very spiritual series in terms of the guests we've got on and the topics that we're talking about. And it's interesting because I'm definitely going deeper down kind of a spiritual journey myself at the moment with exploring different things, but also there's still that little part of me that's like trying to like figure out how, you know, and just trying to be like logical. And it's a really hard, I don't know, I feel like I'm letting go of that more and more because I just am like going further down the rabbit hole, but I love it, but there's still that niggly part of me.
Yeah, I am quite a skeptical person, which might be surprising to some people, but I think a lot of the time I need proof. I need it proved to me. So if I see a card and, you know, I get sort of a feeling that something might be coming, I'm like, prove it to me, send me a sign. Like, I feel like I need something that's like I can grab onto, that's sort of more tactile. And I find that the spirit world does kind of push that towards you, particularly if you're quite an intuitive person. You know, if you're open to it and you believe it and you just kind of like, you know, show me, then you will be shown in certain ways. So
it's
I think it's
funny
good to
though
have
as
logic.
well. It's from an oracle card perspective, no matter how much I've ever doubted my intuition, I've always just been like, whatever card I pick up is going to be it. Like I've never questioned that. And it's really funny because I've done pulled oracle cards for other people, like friends and family, and one particular person very much in denial about a situation in their life, and I pulled these cards and I'm like, and they're like, no, that's not accurate. I'm like, it is. It's like, I can see it.
Yeah.
But I think that's the other thing as well. And it sometimes I think we almost don't want to, and I've done it myself with stuff. I've pulled things and I'm like, I don't want that. Thank you. Put that back. I'll have another one. Because you don't want what the answer is giving you. And I suppose that's even more true with tarot, because like you say, it's not as fluffy as oracle cards.
Definitely. And I often do like group readings as well. So like maybe a couple of friends might book on together. And it's interesting because they go away and then talk about it, and then they'll pick up things that the other person missed, and they'll be like, oh, but what about that? And they'll put the puzzle pieces together for them. So I find that that's quite interesting in group readings, is that other people can kind of help you move through that reading and realize that actually some of what they might have taken as negative was actually not a negative thing at all. So yeah,
I definitely do that, especially with my astrology, but actually I find myself doing it with you, because obviously that with the tarot scope specifically, obviously it moves through the astrology, but I'll sometimes watch a Scorpio one and then go, didn't like that one, let's try Taurus.
Yeah.
Like and you pick, and I'm growing up I never knew what I was, because if you read any magazine, I'm a Sagittarius. I'm the day Sagittarius starts, but
interesting.
I'm a Scorpio based on the time of birth and place of birth. So I never knew which I was. So I used to always read them both and just decide which one I liked the most. And I've always truly known that I'm a Scorpio, because I am, and I joke about it, but I am the most Scorpio in both the good and the bad parts going. My favorite card is Death. Like, it's my favorite card. It's just I'm such a Scorpio, but I always, because I didn't know, I used to switch. But yeah, I'm right on the border, so I'm a really annoying one for things, and I always see it written down as a Sagittarius, and I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think that like cusp exists, and it actually doesn't. Like if you have the specific time, you're either one or the other. It could be like there could be a minute in it, but you're either a Scorpio or you're a Sagittarius. And then there's a whole different chart, and there's aspects and all sorts of things going on. So it's a real like minefield. Once you get into it, it's like it's a bit overwhelming. Like I feel like I've only really scratched the surface of astrology, really. But it's
to
really
be
cool.
fair though, I didn't even realize until fairly recently that you had more than one star sign.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Like, no, because you just exactly like what Lauren says. Growing up, you read the horoscopes, don't you, in the paper or the magazines or whatever, and it says you're this, and that's what you think you are.
Yeah,
but,
and they say you should read your rising sign in the papers rather than your actual sun sign, because back in the day, everybody knew their time of birth, whereas now it's not really a thing. So that's why we go off sun signs, because everybody knows their date of birth. So you should always read your rising sign rather than your sun sign. So I'm an Aquarius rising, so I always read Aquarius.
Because rising is based on the time more so than the day. Is that what that comes from?
Exactly. Yeah. It's when the sun was coming over the horizon or something. So it's a really specific.
There you go.
So with that then,
you're the same, Gemma. You're Capricorn both.
Sun and moon.
Oh no, it was moon, wasn't it? Yes. What were you rising?
I can't remember now.
We literally just looked before we came
on. I'm Capricorn for two of them.
Are you?
Yeah.
So you Capricorn, are you a Capricorn? Is that your sort of your sun sign? Were you born in?
Bear with, because I've got this pattern app now that Lauren's just made me download. Moon, I'm Capricorn. Sun, I'm Capricorn.
Oh, okay. Cool.
What's the other one I've got to look?
Ascendant.
And your ascendant, yeah, or your rising.
Libra.
Ooh, Ooh, interesting. I feel like that's quite yeah, that's a scale. So it's like balance, peace, harmony, love.
Oh,
Very, very
nice.
lovey-dovey. And I feel like that's an interesting combination with the Capricorn. Because Capricorns are seen as quite serious and earthy and very like grounded, but really underneath it all, you're this sort of fluffy, lovey-dovey person. You like
I'll take that, to be fair. That's pretty accurate representation.
Yeah, I'm a Libra sun, so yeah, interesting.
There you go.
I find it. This is the thing with these things, and we've just done a human design episode, just before you came on, and we were saying there as well of it's one of those things that sometimes I'm like, well, it doesn't really make sense, but then you go into these things and you're like, yeah, but that makes sense for me. That makes sense for me. That makes sense, and it's the same with you pull tarot cards. I'm like, well, that makes sense, and it's like, well, whether I get it or understand the meaning of it or where it comes from or any of that like more spiritual stuff, what I can't deny is what's being presented in front of me, because it seems to be accurate. And so at some point you just have to be like, fuck it, I'm going with it.
Yeah. And it's just interesting, I think, as well, like working through like your past and like how you were as a child, because your moon sign represents who you were when you were a child and who you are in your private life. So you're a Gemini moon and a Capricorn moon, aren't you? Both of you.
I'm a Gemini moon, yes, and I'm a Taurus rising.
So I would say like Gemini moon will probably be quite it's also your relation to your mother as well, so how you relate to your mother and their birth experience as well. So say if someone's like an Aries moon, they might have had like quite a quick birth. Scorpio moon might have been quite sort of long and traumatic, and there might be a really strong bond between the mother and the child. Gemini moon, I'd say there's like a very chatty social relationship with mum.
You have as well, wouldn't you, with your mum?
Yeah, we're really close.
Probably like twins.
Yeah, almost like
literally.
I mean, she'll listen to this, but almost like some people find our relationship weird because we'll like talk about like our sex life and like we're just more kind of, and my friends used to talk to, in fact, my mum, the amount of times I've been like, who you texting? She's like, Gemma. It's just, that's kind of, yeah, that's my mum. That's me.
But they are so similar.
Are they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so look alike. Look really, really alike.
We do look alike, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense then. And then Capricorn moon, I'd probably say like a very grounded, like stable relationship, but also very like practical, like maybe help each other out practically. And then Capricorn is very like sort of ambitious as well. So you might have like a high flying mum who's like got a really good job or just values like stability, security, financial security, that sort of things are like high on the list, I'd say, like Capricorn moon, or like they maybe want you to like really, really succeed. They like sort of really get behind you in everything that you do, like success and career wise as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Lovely. That is interesting.
Yeah, Capricorn moons, they sometimes get a bit of a bad rep for like being kind of unemotional as well, which is interesting.
Capricorns.
Yeah.
But I'm perhaps one of the most emotional people you'll ever meet, Emily.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, maybe you worked through it, but like Earth moons traditionally are known as people who don't, or like keep it inside, or just kind of like,
oh yeah, I do do that until I get to a point that I can't anymore, and then it just explodes everywhere.
I was just about to say as well, you can be quite, depending on who you're around, you can be like at work, for example, you're like, this is like, you can kind of, I
can be quite stoic when I need to be, but only to a degree, and then it's like shaking up a bottle of Coke, and then all of a sudden it will just explode and go everywhere.
Yeah. I'm a Virgo moon, so like I'll have a breakdown, but on an organized like schedule. I'll be like, right now I can have a breakdown. I'm not going to do it in public.
Oh my god, that's a really useful skill. I would love a bit of that.
Can we all have a little sprinkling of Virgo going on, please?
Yeah, that sounds really handy. Oh, I love that.
It's not so great.
There's fors and against for it all.
Yeah,
I'm sure there is. Do you have, only because I mentioned it, and I do joke, but I do genuinely like the card. Do you have cards that you pull and you're like, I love that card? Like I always like it when it comes up.
I like the Empress because it's like divine femininity and nature, and it just feels like it's just like a loving energy. Whenever I pull that card, I'm just like, oh, I just feel like really comforted. And I always like strive to be more like the Empress, just like totally unbothered. Like she's just so, I'll try and find the card, because like when you see her, she just looks so like just chilled. Like I feel like if anyone was to challenge her, she'd just be like, whatever. Like she's just so
That'd be nice.
relaxed. Yeah.
I feel like we all need a bit of that
I
energy.
want to be an Empress
Yeah.
Libra now.
You find her.
Libras quite fair as well, aren't they? Because of the scales. I would say you're quite fair, Gemma. That makes sense.
No, well, what was the one you said for the organised breakdown? Was that Libra or Virgo?
Oh, I'd say that's just an Earth moon in general. But I'm a Virgo moon and you're a Capricorn moon, so they're both Earth moon.
Oh, so we're already good with the organised breakdowns then.
Yeah.
We'll just have a bit of Empress going on there.
Exactly. So there she is.
Just chilling.
But she's just
she's living her best one.
Yeah,
and for those of you that aren't watching but are listening, check it out, or maybe Lauren will share a picture, because this card is awesome.
Yeah. Cheers. She's got a great outfit on as well. She looks great.
Yeah, like
some cool white crop top and like a long white skirt.
Yeah, it's just very like goddess energy. There's a little heart cushion with the female symbol on it. And she's just sitting in nature, and there's like a river behind her and all these trees, and she just looks really like ethereal almost to me.
Yeah, like almost like a crown on.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
Are
like
there crystals around her as well?
Yeah, do you know what they look like? Crystals or like rocks, don't they? Like kind
crystal
of
rocks.
Crystal rocks. Yeah,
nice. I'm here for that.
Yeah, but she's sitting on this like beautiful like throne, and she just looks really comfortable, and like this card for me is about sensuality as well, and something that like women can be afraid of is to really like embrace their sensuality. So yeah, this card for me, whenever I see it, I'm like, yes, like this just feels really like feminine and flowing, and I just love it. It's a favorite card, definitely.
I did wonder, because you must have those like things sometimes. Do you pull for yourself quite often?
I do, but I prefer somebody else to read for me. So if I have some friends who are tarot readers, I'll be like, I have a question, like, can you just pull one for me? And then I'll do one for them. But occasionally I do, but I find it very hard to like sort of look at the bigger picture. I find it hard to step back. I prefer doing readings for other people.
I get that, because you must kind of almost make a meaning out of it, knowing what is going on for you or what you want to happen.
Yeah. Or it's just the urge to be like, well, like, I know what they all mean, so I'll just pull another card.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be very well, as I said, I jump between different star signs. Like I would definitely try and sway the results.
Yeah. Or it's easy just to keep pulling if you don't get the answer that you want. So you kind of you have to put like a time limit on it, or be like, I'm just going to pull these 3 cards and ask these 3 questions, and just accept what comes out.
I think the thing as well is to think that it's not going to necessarily make not everything not every star sign you've got, or every card you pull, or everything is going to make exact clarity, clear sense in that exact moment. And it might be that we change so much on a daily basis. So just because it doesn't make sense right now doesn't mean it didn't make sense in the past, or it won't make sense in the future.
Yeah, exactly. I tell everybody that on my readings as well. Like, if it doesn't resonate right now, give it a few days, a week. There'll be something that happens later down the line where the penny will drop, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's what you meant. So just give it time.
Or it's just like not wanting to. I remember, and I can't remember what month we're talking. I want to say around December, January time. It might have even been November. You did your monthly tarot scopes, and there was the overall message was I can't even remember what it was about, but I remember linking it in my head to my relationship at the time, and it feeling very it wasn't the best message. And I remember being like, yeah, no, not cool, and we're not together anymore. And I remember having that, and it's that kind of like acceptance of what the message might be as well, and then I'm wanting it, rather than just being like, oh no, that's wrong, because I don't want that to be the message. I'm gonna have to go back and find it now, because it was really interesting. But it's especially if you on some level know the message, like in your head, it's very hard for you to then, it's almost harder in a way for you to connect if you know, because you're so resisting and like pushing it. I found it.
Yeah. And that's what I love about these tarot scopes is you can watch all three of them, and if one of them doesn't resonate for you, you know, it is a general message for all Scorpios. So if that one doesn't work, you can go and watch another one and be like, oh, I can take something from that. So I find it quite nice sometimes. My Scorpio moon friend, she like writes them down, and then she'll go back over the last month and like look at them again and like compare them. So I just find it really interesting. I think that's what helped my account take off as well, the tarot scopes. And if anybody doesn't know what a tarot scope is, it's like a horoscope, but with tarot cards.
They're very good.
I love them. I literally, as soon as a month rolls, I know it's a new month because I start seeing them pop up. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, and then I get annoyed because I'm like, now go on.
Yeah. I'm always annoyed because Libra is always last. Like nobody votes for Libra. Nobody votes for Libra or Aries. I don't know where they all are, but yeah, Pisces is always top. Leo is always top.
Are Libra and Aries quite practical and therefore wouldn't be tarot people?
Probably, yeah, possibly.
That's my wonder. I wonder if they're like, it's a load of rubbish, I'm not here.
Yeah, probably. Apparently the most rare sign is Capricorn. The least amount of people are born in Capricorn season.
There you go, Gem.
You're Capricorn, you're rare.
And I'm moon and sun.
There you go.
There you go. Really interesting. Should we have a play a little bit?
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned it, but I'm just...
Absolutely.
I'm here
for it. Clearing my space. I'm not doing it. I just started moving my mic and my pad out the way.
You're preparing your energy.
Get me, let me get the oracle deck out of the cupboard.
Okay. I learned this cool like way to shuffle them as well. These cards are really big, so they're hard to kind of get in your hands. So I saw this girl do this and I was like, this is such a cool way to shuffle. And she just kind of drops them.
Yeah, see, this is a restriction for me with cards because I cannot shuffle. I'm like,
no, I couldn't.
I need to buy one of those shufflers. I'm just going to run it through the machine.
Yeah. I was literally embarrassing with it. I was literally like trying to do this, and I was like, once you learn, it's easy. But
so I've got to tell you something though, Emily. When you did me that recording for my birthday, well, that Lauren got me for my birthday, after like a few weeks later, I got my oracle cards out. And I thought, I ain't gonna bother spreading them out. She just shuffled them and asked cards to pop out. So I was like, I'll do that. They went everywhere. I was losing cards left, right, and centre. I was like, am I meant to read all of them? So I think I'll just stick to how I normally do it.
Yeah. You do what's right.
Out left, right, and centre.
Yeah. I used to kind of split the deck. Well, there's so many ways you can like deal the cards if you want to. Like some people might like split the deck in two and then maybe choose like this one or this one and then just deal from the top. But I like to let them drop out as and when they want to. So I'll just kind of keep shuffling until one pops out like that. So they'll just be like, it's a bit more spontaneous, and it won't do it now, but it just kind of, yeah, like there we go. Just let them drop out as and when they want. Because I feel like that's a bit more organic to me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work for some people, but it's totally personal.
Oh, I love it.
Practice makes perfect. I'll keep going.
Cool. So what do you want to do? Do you want to do like a collective reading, or should we do like one for each of you? Like maybe a few cards for each? What do you think?
Yeah, can do.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's do that.
Yeah. Do you have like a question, or do you want to be like, what do I need to know? Or
I'm happy for mine to be quite general. Yeah. Like, what do I need to know right now? What should be horrendous? Okay. You're in denial, man. Sort your life out.
Let's do it. So I'll just let the cards fall out. I'll just let them drop. We've already got two, which is good. There we go. Okay. Cool. So if I'm doing like a sort of short spread, I'll do like a sort of past, present, future. So the first card that I pulled for you, Lauren, was the Knight of Wands. So this is to do with your past. So it may be something that's already gone, or it may be something that you're like still dealing with at the moment. But the Knight of Wands is very like fast, energetic energy that's coming towards you. Sometimes when I see a knight or a king or a queen, it can represent a person that's coming towards you, or it could just be like a general energy. For some reason, I feel like this is a person. And it's somebody who is very motivated, very passionate, but they're a little bit flighty and a little bit impulsive. And it's like you can't quite get hold of them. They're always rushing off in a different direction. And I feel like if this is to do with like relationships, this is like a Mr. like right now. It's not like a Mr. Right. It's just somebody who like you can just have some fun with. And whenever I see the wands, it's just like am I allowed to swear on this podcast, by the way?
Absolutely.
I think
Encouraged.
Like a bit of footboy energy. Like they're just like not here to stay sort of thing. So I think this is just a message just to be like, this person is in the past, this person, like we're letting go of this person now. And yeah, we're moving towards the stuff that we actually want, rather than like this person kind of disrupting your peace in a way, I think. Great. And then the next card that I had coming out for you was the Judgment card. This is a major arcana card. So we have major arcana and minor arcana. Minor arcana is stuff like the Three of Cups, the Four of Cups, that sort of thing, the numbered ones. And then a major arcana is anything with a name. So the Judgment card, the Tower, the Empress. And when I see a major arcana card, it means like big significant shifts in your life and big changes. And the Judgment card is to do with stepping up to like a higher calling. So it's somewhere that you're meant to be, and it's like a sense of rebirth that's happening for you. And it's up to you whether you answer the call or not, or whether you just stay in your kind of comfort zone, or whether you like elevate and move to the next stage. So it's about kind of just surrendering to the moment and just allowing yourself to be taken and just to keep elevating. And from what you've said, I feel like you're definitely listening to the call and you're allowing yourself to be led. So that's really, really exciting. And then the final card, the future card I had for you, which I'm really happy to see because we had that fuckboy energy with the Knight of Wands, is the Ace of Cups. So this is like a new energy that's coming towards you. Aces are like the beginning of something. It's a potential. It's a turning of a page. And the cups are to do with feelings, love, relationships. It can also be about creation and intuition as well. So it doesn't have to be like a romantic relationship as such. It's just whatever resonates for you. But I feel like there's a new connection that's coming towards you. And it just feels like it's going to fill your cup up where it wasn't full before. Somebody was kind of just trying to take what they could from you and just kind of run off in the other direction. And this time it's kind of more, it's more loving, it's more caring, it's more open. There's a vulnerability to this card. And it just feels like really loving and open. So yeah, look out for someone else on the horizon, possibly.
Any thoughts, Gemma?
That's so accurate, Emily. It's scary.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about what's going on, so
yeah, it was have very much come out of a not I want to be nice, and I don't want to say anything too publicly that's not, especially. But it's more coming out of a situation where wasn't getting necessarily what I needed, and it felt very much like I was having to drag it out of a person.
Yeah.
But also the thing about being flighty and the fact it come out of nowhere.
It did come out of nowhere, yeah. And then at the moment, I'm very much focusing on the intuition side of things. I currently have a psychic development coach. And I'm trying new things, and I'm just trying to lean into my intuition more, because I think, especially in that situation, and that before, I don't want to blame that completely. Generally speaking, I've very much like got a blocked intuition at the moment, and I'm trying to like trust myself more. And then I'm also entering into something new with somebody new. Currently very like like at the very, very early stages of that right now. For somebody that's a lot more
open,
a lot more open.
loving and caring. All the things that Emily said.
Gemma's pretty much got us married, so I don't really.
Oh yeah.
But yes.
Well, aces as well can, if you're already kind of in a relationship, that could be an up leveling in that current relationship. So it's like moving to the next stage as well. So yeah,
almost you could argue, Emily, as if you were going to get into an official relationship with
yeah,
somebody.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or get married and have babies and get engaged. Yay!
Emily's on board with me.
Yeah.
Time for you to go get pregnant.
Gemma's trying to organise my sex life, by the way, so that I can get pregnant at a time that is considerate, like that she would like.
That sounds like an Earth Moon thing to do.
You know, I do my breakdowns by agenda. I want my best friend to have a baby on my agenda.
To the point where she tried to organise, it did not quite work out, but she tried to organise her engagement party at a time when I was ovulating. I'm like, Gemma, I'm not.
I mean, you got to love a try, right? We're 2 weeks out, so
exactly. You're not just thinking about yourself; you're thinking about the collective here.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
She's going to be such a good mum. I just can't wait.
But thank you. That was very, very cool.
You're welcome. Okay, Gemma, let's do it. Okay.
I was nervous.
So am I now.
I literally get, whenever anyone does a reading for me, I like sweat and I like
my
at the end
palms are damp.
Yeah. I don't know what I think like is going to happen, because like I know how it all works, but so what I normally do is knock on the deck as well after I've done one reading, so that I'll just get the energy out. So 2 flew out at once. Okay, just like one more. I always think it's like trying to work its way to the top as well, if it takes a while. There we go. Okay. Cool. I want to ask more about that, so I'm just going to grab one more. Okay.
So you're supposed to have
interesting. I mixed these cards very well. I assure you, I put them in different places, and you've got 2 of the same cards, which is interesting because it feels like you're very connected in that way. So it might be what you were dealing with is also like on a level, Gemma, is what you're kind of moving past as well, because you both got the fuckboy card.
Hilarious. Okay.
Knight of Wands.
Is the fuckboy in my past or in my present?
This is your past, so this is something that's gone.
Thank
so
God for that. Yep.
Yeah, it's just something that I feel like you both really deeply connect with, is like you're not here for anyone to waste your time, like, you know, to steal your energy, to take your peace from you. You're just kind of like, I'm done with this. Like
does it have to be a boy?
It doesn't have to be. No. So the Knight, what I love about these cards is they're a non-binary image. And I kind of say masculine or feminine, but if I'm saying masculine, it doesn't technically mean male. It could be female as well.
It wouldn't have to be like a romantic, toxic stuff going on. It doesn't.
It could be a friendship, or it could be a family member, but I feel like it's somebody who just like messes with your energy. There's somebody who's very like, they're always taking what they can from you, and it just feels like they're rushing off in every direction. It could also represent that you were feeling quite energetic yourself just recently and a little bit impulsive, and you were just kind of grabbing opportunities where you could, and it just felt like we had a lot of like, we were just trying to get like a hamster on the wheel. We just felt like we were really like, oh, I just need to get there. So again, it doesn't have to be exactly the same thing as it was for Lauren. It could be something completely different.
That does resonate though, definitely.
Yeah, so the ones are to do with energy, motivation, life purpose, your new ideas as well, because these ones have little sprouts coming off the top. So it's like we're springing new ideas, but we're doing it in a very fast and energetic way as well. So if the fuckboy thing doesn't resonate for you, it might be more to do with like you were just like trying to get out there and trying to get your ideas heard. So yeah, take what resonates there. But that's interesting, you both got the same past card, because I assure you it was deep in there, so I don't know why it made its way to the top again for the same position. And then next up we have your present, and we have the lovely 4 of Wands as well. So you have quite a lot of wands here. Yeah, wands are very energetic, very passionate. It just shows that at the moment you are feeling like just very fiery, very like, you're full of life purpose, you know what you want, and you're just going out there and getting it. And it's very action orientated. The ones, it just feels like we're like, oh, I just want to get out there. And the 4 is representing stability and security. And the 4 of Wands in particular is some kind of celebration. So it could be engagement, marriage, christening, could be any one of those things. But it just feels like right now we have something to celebrate. And it's because of this stability that you have kind of created for yourself between you and another person. So it doesn't have to be romantic particularly. It could be
I literally got engaged like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
there we go. That's exactly it. So yeah, this card, it's to do with celebrating and coming together. And it's like, I feel like this is a really good card to get for you know, this next stage of your relationship, because it's showing that it's solid, it's stable, it's secure, you've nothing to worry about. If there's anything that's on your mind that you're like questioning, it's just kind of be like, everything's fine, don't worry about anything, everything's good.
I'm gonna cry.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then you crying
A little bit.
Yeah, it is quite emotional. I always cry when somebody does my cards. I'm literally like, then next up we have your future. And this was an interesting one because I was kind of like, I wanted a bit more information. So I don't generally pull too many cards, but I was like, I want a bit more confirmation on what this is in particular. Yeah. So I got this card, the 5 of Swords, and it came out reversed. So whenever a card comes out reversed, it means we're kind of maybe reflecting on the past, or there's something that's gone, or we're feeling a little bit stuck. There may be some kind of blocks that are standing in our way. And the 5 of Swords is about some kind of disagreement, or sort of conflict, or harsh words have been said. And when it comes out reversed, it's like there's some kind of reconciliation that's happening, or an apology, or there's something like where you're kind of making amends with somebody else, or with an organization or a group of people. And I pulled another card because I was kind of like, what is this about? And I got the Judgment card, which is so interesting because that came out for Lauren in the present. So what does it mean for you in the future? I feel that when we have this reconciliation and this forgiveness and this letting go, it's like we can elevate to the next level. We'll experience this sense of rebirth because we truly let go of that, whatever resentment we were holding on to, or whatever was holding us back in certain ways. It's kind of like, maybe even you don't have to forgive. Maybe you don't even have to say, you know, give them that release. It's just a case of like, I'm letting go of that conflict. I'm letting go of that disagreement. I'm letting go of that in order to elevate to my next stage. So yeah, it feels like there's a real release that's happening for you coming up in the future, and it's connected with your inner calling, where you're meant to be, your destiny as such. So it feels like quite vast, but yeah, interesting. Yeah, so that might not even, you might not even know what that is yet, but keep it in mind.
I'll do a bit, but no, that's good.
I know what that is.
Okay.
You know, that all felt very accurate as well.
Yeah. Oh, Emily, you're good.
Yeah, thank you.
With our past as well, and obviously I won't speak about our past in detail, Gemma, don't worry, don't panic. But with our past, there's a number of not nice situations and quite like traumatic situations, or just like weird, usually not nice experiences, I could say, even if they're more surface level, but that we share.
Yeah.
we have a number of those that probably are why initially we probably really connected and became good friends. Why bonded, yeah. And that's interesting. The cards are coming out twice. It's like that's showing how deep your bond and your connection is. And like I believe in like past lives and connections and like why we're meant to meet certain people in our lives. And my friend, she went to a psychic who told her that her mum had been her sister in a past life. And that they had this really, really strong bond, and they just kept coming back and meeting each other again and again in different scenarios. So I think like if you feel a really strong bond towards somebody, I feel like it's because you met them before and you found them again. It's so funny because we've very recently had this conversation. Really? Like
do you reckon? I actually asked, I said, do you think we're soulmates? And without even slight hesitation, Gemma went, yeah. And we have felt very close very quickly. And like I say, there are a number of things in our life, not in the same way, but that are just so parallel in so many different ways. Which, it's just really interesting.
Yeah. And also, I would like to point out, when you get the because the app tells you that we wouldn't make a good romantic couple, you got to remember now that Emily has pulled us the same cards.
You might have been like husband and wife in a past life. I'm just saying.
Lauren reckons we were together romantically in a past.
Yeah, maybe we were. Maybe we were just like either that or like you say, like sibling, just like getting aggy with each other all the time.
Yeah,
I feel like that would have been our vibe. Just
see what she does to me, Emily. She has a go at me about the app. She tells me she'd have a go at me if she was my sister.
But no, I find that fascinating. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Both of them, I think both of us could see it for each other as well. It was just like,
yeah, that's what I love about us doing it together, is like that you can kind of talk about it later and unpick it together. So I really do recommend having readings as a pair, for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. Maybe we'll book you on off air so that we can.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing that, by the way. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. I love doing it. I love doing it.
You're so talented. You're so good at it.
Thank you.
She's like, thank you.
Cringe. Just stop now. Just stop. So if anyone listening or watching this wants to get in touch with you, follow you, book a reading, etc., how would they go about doing that?
Sure. So you can either follow me on Instagram or TikTok. I'm Soul Sister Tarot on both of those, so either platform. And I have a link in my bio on both of them where you can go and book a reading. I do about 3 different types of reading. So I do live one-to-one readings on Zoom. I also do like a pre-recorded video, and that's for people that maybe have like a busy schedule and are not able to fit in a specific time, or some people are just like a little bit shy about coming on camera or coming for a reading. So I do it for that reason. I can also put captions on there as well. So if you want to kind of read the captions while you're watching the video, I can do that. And I also do email readings as well, because some people like to see it all in kind of written format with all the pictures of the cards. So I've got a little bit of something for everyone. And then if you're based in Greater Manchester, once a month I do readings in person at Transcend Studios in Eccles. So if you're interested, come down.
I did see that recently and was like, that's really annoying. I'm too far from
yeah. Day out to Manchester, why not?
Yeah, there we go. We'll go, Gem.
Go for a road trip.
Go for a road trip.
We'll have a weekend in Manchester. That'll be great.
You'd love Transcend as well, because they've got like a crystal shop in there and a little coffee shop, and they have like a big yoga studio.
You have me sold on crystals, Emily.
Yeah, there you go then.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been, honestly, I mean, you made her cry. It's been great. And you made me cry a couple of weeks ago.
No, sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
Best kind of tears.
The best kind of tears. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, go check Emily out on Solar Sister Tarot on Instagram and TikTok. And goodbye.